Welcome to the Divine Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Christina Aroche, and together we are walking the path of discovering your true self and the alignment with your soul. Through these conversations, you will experience a deeper level of connection with yourself and the universe, and most importantly, you will trust in your spiritual journey ahead. Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode. Today, we are going to be talking about how to know that you are ready to be a healer, or how you know that it's time to take action or to move forward in your calling, in your purpose as a healer. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 4 main things that you need to know regarding this path and for you to begin to walk in that energy of a healer. So the very first thing, the very most important part of this, of how you know that you're ready, is that you feel the calling within you, right? And this is something that's really important because it's not about what someone said or someone's like, okay, now it's time for you to be a healer, right? Or, now's the time. You got to do this, right? Coming from outside of you. It really has to come from within you, where you feel that internal alignment, you feel that internal pull, you feel that internal calling that says, I'm here to be a healer. I know that this is my truth. I know that this is my purpose. I know that this is who I'm here to be. And you feel that sense, that energy that's just like, that's who I'm here to be. That's what I'm meant to be. That's what I'm meant to do, and moving through those moments or through those experiences where you feel the pull. And that's essentially what it really feels like. It feels like it's a pull. It's like a direction that's saying like, this way, this way, this way, So that's the very first thing, is that you actually feel this calling within you. Now, the second thing is to know that, the way that you know that you're ready is that you yourself have been going through a spiritual awakening journey, right? And the place in terms of where you're at on your journey is not as important as the fact that you are on your journey, So a lot of the times I think what holds people back is this feeling that, well, I don't know enough, or I haven't done this enough, or I haven't walked this path enough, or whatever. And I can be the first to tell you from firsthand experience that I know exactly what that feels like, because when I felt the pull in the direct guidance that told me, you're meant to be an angel channel, you're meant to be a spiritual teacher, this is what you're here to do, I, for one, was like, are you kidding me? Like, I just started this. I just started this journey. I don't even know the archangels all that well. Like, how am I supposed to just show up and be a teacher and talk about them and all the things? Like, give me a couple years, a few months at least, And that essentially, that voice there that says, you don't know enough, you're not ready yet, you need to have more experience, all of those things, it really comes from a place of our human, right? Our human needing that validation in order to feel certain in a specific calling or a specific way of being, right? As a healer or as a channel or whatever. But the thing that I always remind people, and that I have come to, again, firsthand experience this, is that the calling and the work that you do as a healer doesn't come from your human. Like, yes, you're using your intellectual human brain to think about things or to do things in a certain way, to interact with people, whatever, right? But the truth is that your human is the vessel through which the wisdom of your soul is coming through. And when you think of this from the perspective of your soul, you are very wise. You have been doing this for who knows how long, right? Your soul, right? And especially if you identify as an old soul, which I know that many of you do, when you identify as an old soul, then that right there already tells you that you know that your soul has many lifetimes of experience doing this kind of work, or having the wisdom around healing, around spiritual truths, whatever it is. And so simply what is happening now in this lifetime, even though it feels new to your human, it's not new to your soul. And so when we remind ourselves of that, then it kind of eases that nervousness or that anxiety around like, oh my gosh, like I don't know anything about this. Because I can tell you from my experience, when I accepted the truth that was like, this is who I'm here to be, and I'm going to start pursuing that path, as scary as it was, because my human brain was like, but you don't know anything. As I started to show up in that energy, the information would just flow and it would come in, and I would start teaching and sharing and this and that. And my human brain was still like, how do you know this stuff? and my soul is like, because we've been doing this for a very long time, So I've just learned over the years now that anything that I step into, anything that I feel the calling towards, it's, even though it's new for my human in this current experience, it's not new to my soul. And so in there is that sense of like reassurance that my soul knows what it's doing. Okay, you got this, you know what you're doing, even though my human wants to freak out right now. So knowing that you are going through the spiritual awakening journey, meaning that you're going through this journey of understanding yourself and who you are, and being in alignment with your soul and bringing your soul's energy through in terms of how you show up or what you do, as long as that's there, as long as you're committed to your spiritual growth and your spiritual path, then your soul in its infinite wisdom and your connection to the divine will always flow through and be expressed in your human. And I can't even tell you how many times I've either been in like a one-on-one session with a client or teaching something or whatever. And as I'm saying the words, right, and like in that way I'm channeling whatever the information was, I'm like, whoa, that's really good. Like my human brain is at the same time like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I don't know how I knew that, but that's a good one. Right. And then, again, it's because it's not coming from my human, my intellectual brain. It's coming from something greater, right? Something much more connected to spirit. And that is what's coming through. So for anyone who's listening to this and you feel the calling to be a healer, a channel, a spiritual teacher, whatever it is, it's a reminder to you that wisdom and truth that you feel called to bring forward, it's coming from something much deeper, much greater, much bigger than you. And we get to trust in that, right? So that's number 2. Okay. The third way that you know that you are ready to be a healer is that you keep getting signs and messages. And this can show up in so many different ways. So there's not a specific sign or message, but in general, it's like a continued sign or message that keeps showing up in your life, that it's undeniable the fact that you're being led and guided to step into your purpose as a healer. And so a few examples of this, I'll share some examples, but like I said, this can be totally different for you. It's just individual to each person's experience. But an example is that you keep seeing topics around being a healer showing up, right? So if you're like, if you've been thinking about this, you've been contemplating it, and now you're listening to this episode, you're like, oh my gosh, here we are again talking about being a healer. This is probably a sign, what if that keeps showing up in your life in some shape or form, like healer, or this or that or whatever, that's a sign. Okay. Another sign is when you have certain people that show up that you start to notice, and you start to become aware of the fact that you are either, holding space for them in a certain way, or supporting them through a certain thing. Or you often notice that people come to you and they just kind of share and open themselves up to you. Like they share their stories or share their struggles and just kind of like lean into you as a sense of support, right? And you start noticing that over and over again. Well, that's a sign. Okay. It's a sign if there's a certain pattern, so to speak, in terms of people, in terms of situations that show up in your life that are leading you or showing you what you're capable of, or showing you how easy it is for you to hold space for others, or how easy it is for you to lead others on their journey. So this is all part of the signs and messages that the divine is just like throwing at you in all the different shapes and forms to let you know that you are ready to be a healer. And so the fourth way that you know that you are ready to be a healer is that you feel this deep sense of readiness to elevate your life. And what I mean by this is that you have some sort of bigger vision or bigger goal or bigger awareness in terms of your life, in terms of what you desire, in terms of what you are wanting to create for yourself. And one of the key things that I have recognized is that in order to really bring ourselves into the manifestation of the life that we desire to experience and the, different circumstances and situations that we desire to call into our life, we must align with the greater purpose of our soul. And so if you have felt yourself in a place where you're like, yes, I'm ready to elevate my life, I'm ready to live, fully, or to have these incredible experiences, or to call these incredible people into my life, right? Certain connections or relationships or whatever, all of these different things, the bigger vision, the bigger picture that you see for yourself, if you feel that, if you feel this sense of ready to elevate into that, then that is another sign, another way that you know that you're ready to be a healer and to step into that purpose, because that greater calling of your soul and what you have come here to do, or the impact that you have come here to create, is going to be sustained and continue to grow and work with everything that we just talked about. And it's going to work with that greater vision, that greater perspective that you have in terms of the things that you desire to bring into your life. So it's like that calling or that purpose of being a healer fits into everything. And it's because of you pursuing the path of who you truly are and what you're here to do that those other things get to come into form, because they're all connected. Okay, they're connected to the bigger, greater good. And so it all comes together in that way. So that is the fourth way for you to know that you are ready to be a healer. So I would love to hear from you in the comments below what your biggest takeaway was, or which of these four things really stood out to you the most. So leave me a comment below and let me know. And then the other thing that I want to let you know is that if you are ready to elevate, if you're in that place where you heard number 4, you're like, yep, I'm ready to elevate, I'm ready to do this, I'm really excited to offer you an opportunity to do this in deep mentorship and support. This is one of the things that I do, is I support people one-on-one and guide them and lead them and help them to elevate into who they're meant to be. So my work, the way that I support others, is by showing them who they truly are. I'm like a mirror that shows you your true power, that shows you your gifts, that shows you your potential, and that helps you elevate into that. Okay. So we work together to support you in opening up or strengthening your spiritual gifts, helping you to gain deeper clarity and understanding around your purpose, around your greater mission, your soul, who you're here to be, speaking your truth, all of those things, helping you to release any blocks and things that have been holding you back from actually aligning with that. Right? Because there's a step where you become aware of what the thing is. And then there's the deeper step that's like, okay, now it's time to clear the conditioning and the blocks and the things that have held me back from truly owning who I am. So that's the other part of what we do together. And then it's just this overall mentorship container where you really get to experience the depth of support and connection through me and through my divine channel, and how the angels come through to guide you, to lead you, so that you can take this in and learn through observation so that you can become the very best version of you as well. Okay, so I just love this so much. I love working with people one-on-one. So if you are interested in joining forces and doing this thing together, go check out the link below in the show notes. My one-on-one mentorship is called Elevate, and you can see why. So I'm here to support you in elevating into your best self. Go check out all the details there. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me through my website or on Instagram or Facebook. So that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening in. As always, I am sending you so much love and angel blessings, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. If you are someone who is seeking to be supported by the angels, to deepen your connection to the angels, to understand how to work with them in your everyday life, then I invite you to join me inside of my membership group called the Angels Guild, where we go deep in understanding how to connect with each of the archangels, understanding how they are here to support you and to guide you on your journey of growth, of connection, of living in your highest potential, opening up to your gifts, living in your truth, and being empowered in who you are. Join me inside of the Angels Guild. All of the details to join the membership are in the show notes below.